Hey folks, thanks for joining again. We're doing another live stream today, and it's going to be some more casual coding basically. I don't have any big plans today, but there are some things in Tempest that require some maintenance, believe it or not. Um, it's not even released yet. It's not out there in the open. But still, the way I program is I go straight at a goal, and then I have to refactor afterwards. And while I'm coding, I make some notes of things I should fix and clean up later. So basically, that's what we're doing today. Still, I think it will be interesting because we'll be all over the place, and yeah, I think it's an important part that I wanted to share with you as well. So no big complex stuff today. At least I think so. let's uh, let's not make any assumptions too early. Hey Adrian, by the way, thanks for joining. Glad you're here. Also, by the way, what are you guys doing today? Let me know in chat. I would love to know what is on your plate. Let me share my screen here. This is my issue list. We're not going to go through everything, and there are some pretty big things on here as well. But like, for example, reflection helper classes. I've been writing quite a lot of reflection magic in the past weeks. And it's been kind of spreading all throughout the code base. That's something I want to look at. Better exceptions. It's small things, but important. I actually have inconsistent naming, believe it or not. A friend of mine, he he made me aware of that. I actually knew it, and I was just too lazy to go through and fix it right when I was writing that code. But we're going to fix that today. There are some things like, I'm not sure about this one. It might be a tricky one to get right on stream. Route caching and config caching, definitely not something we'll work on today. Refactor some magic that we wrote on another stream. We might actually tackle that today. I've got some other things on my to-do list here: authentication, authorization, environment support, and support, front-end bootstrap. That's actually, I do want to include some kind of, I don't know, form builder or something that makes it easy to, build basic CRUD applications. I do plan on including Tailwind, but apart from the very basic template engine that we've built before, I haven't really looked at front-end stuff, but that's definitely on the to-do list as well. Console, I actually have a very super cool idea for console commands, which I'm going to rewrite from scratch. We're not going to use Symfony console, which is the standard everywhere, and I think it would be nice to just detach from the ideas that were pitched there. I don't know how long that package exists. Let's actually packagist Symfony console. How old is it? I think it's probably very, very old, right? How do I check that in Composer? Actually, I'm not sure where I can see this. Like installs, probably, maybe. Oh yeah, over here. 2012. It's more than 10 years old. That's crazy. But we're not going to use it. And let's take a look at it. I also need to build an event bus. Might actually consider adding some more CQRS and event sourcing functionality as well. I'm not sure about that. Route groups and middleware support is going to be super cool, but also not for today. Need to add some additional validation rules. Might do some work on that. Oh, this one is actually finished. I did this one over the weekend. Let me actually show you, because this is pretty cool. So this code basically works now. This is something we addressed in the previous stream, like the two ways of mapping data to request data rather to models, and we now have like dedicated request objects where you can have dedicated validation rules for a specific request, and you also can map the request directly to a model, and all of that works, which is pretty cool. I actually had to write an array helper. I want to do things on my own, right? I don't want to just pull in like Laravel collection, for example, to do this. But I needed to do things like this. You don't really have nested request bodies, so you have to convert this style of array that comes from a request to this array, which was a pretty interesting problem to solve. Actually, I was trying to solve it in code and it didn't work, and then I just stepped away. I had to do some other things. It was weekend, and but I was like thinking about it in my head, and suddenly it clicked. I think I was on the toilet or something, and I was like, oh wait, hang on, if I do it this way, I think it might work. And then I just I said to my wife, honey, hold on, can I get half an hour? I need to grab my laptop and I need to write things down. And like 10 minutes and it worked, which was pretty cool. It's not that difficult when you think about it, but you needed the right mindset, and I didn't want to use recursion, and I also didn't want to use references, which is how Laravel solves it, to like convert this to this. Yeah, pretty cool. I'm not going to go through that because like explaining it would be pretty boring. So yeah, let's take a look at chat here. Yeah, people are. Oh, you're reviewing for the Laravel 10 upgrade. Anyone go to Laracon? Was it nice? I did see some pretty cool things already, so interested in learning your ideas. I also saw Taylor's talk. It was live streamed where he showed the new Laravel like default project structure for Laravel 11, which was pretty clean, and I like that. Let's take a look at Rob here. What software do you use to create your slides for stream? I don't really have any slides, I think, but if you mean like how I manage my software here, my stream, I mean that's StreamYard, it's called. So and another question here, is this video number 5? I'm not sure. Let's take a look. PHP annotated. I do have a playlist actually for Tempest. But did I update it? No, I didn't. Yeah, it's video number 5, I guess. Yeah, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Yeah. Video number 5. Let's take a look. Hey, also the GitHub link. Yeah, I can give it to you, but you won't find anything there because the repository is still private. So people have been asking me that. But yeah, I'm still keeping it private until you can actually like build a basic CRUD application with it. And for that to work, I think I need everything in this issue list, basically. Or at least I might skip events, but everything else is absolutely authentication and authorization probably also isn't necessarily required. So, but apart from that, yeah, I need to finish on some things first. That's basically it. Oh, Rob meant the cover image. Like that's just Photoshop, basically. We have a design team at JetBrains. They came up with like the branding for PHP annotated, and I just take a bit of inspiration from there. Oh, hang on a second. This is great news. And then we're going to start a bit. After watching your video, I'm joining the bright side and I use a light team now. Panji, I don't know if I pronounced your name correctly, but that is great. And for everyone who's saying that I'm wrong, I want to direct you to my channel again, PHP Annotated. And you go here, you search light, and you press this video, basically, okay? Go watch that. Yeah, light color schemes are much better, basically. No, but let's dive into some code now, because where's my IDE? Oh yeah, here it is. Great. Okay, so I actually can close this issue because that's fixed now, and I can probably close Twitter as well. let's take a look. Something very easy to start with. Let's go with namespaces. I have some, I was told, different naming conventions. And now that I'm looking at it, I'm not sure if I just should change it actually. So application is definitely something that should be renamed. Applications, because there are going to be multiple applications here. I don't know, actually, it sounds a bit weird, doesn't it? Yeah, I'm not sure. Container, database, discovery, HTTP, interfaces. I think that makes sense to have plural name here, but here, for example, mapper, it should be singular, probably. ORM should be singular, support also, validation as well, view as well. And it means that like app, it's actually interesting. Why do I do things differently? So on the framework level, it feels like singular names make much more sense, but on the project level, it feels like plural is the way to go. I actually would appreciate some input here from you guys, but anyway, I did rename one namespace, so let's take a look. Okay, everything still works. So let me just commit that already, and maybe you can share your opinion in the chat. Right. What's the best naming convention here? I should also probably name this configs, which doesn't make sense, but I think config actually is plural as well. So plural, singular, I'm not sure. Let's take a look at exceptions. So what I've been doing, I already looked for it, but so there are a couple of places where I just throw an exception, and I should probably add exceptions for that. So this one happens when like circular dependency is detected, and basically the container can't resolve it. So exceptions, exceptions, right? Okay, I'm gonna go with exceptions here. I think that makes more sense. Circular dependency. And should I suffix it with exception? I think I will. Exception. I think I will. And it should extend from exception, right? And so throw circular dependency injection. And the way that's detected, by the way, is with like this container log object. Every time a dependency is resolved from the container, there's a log item added to this one. And if like within the same chain, the same dependency is requested another time, it means you have a circular dependency and you'll end up in an infinite loop. So in that case, we'll throw an exception. So we can probably pass just the container log to our exception. We might not even need it. I'm not sure. Let's go with string item for now, and we'll just throw this message here. Item. Yep. That actually reminds me, I need to add another issue. I need some global exception handler. Yep. Okay. Okay, this one is solved now. So, container. So whenever we get a dependency from the container and something happens, it throws an exception. And this is kind of annoying actually, because it means that the original exception is always wrapped in another exception. I don't know if I want to keep that. So for now, I'm just going to say container exception for now. extends exception, and throw new container exception. And this one takes the log, container log, and also throwable previous. And then we just move this to here, previous, and we give it the log and throwable, right? Yeah. Someone asks if this is a new ID. This is just PHP Storm, but I have the new UI enabled, right? Which is available since the previous version. So okay, container exception. That's good as well. And this one, so initializers must implement initializer. Yeah, okay, so in this case, we definitely invalid initializer exception. By the way, I have to get rid of the read-only because otherwise I can't extend from the base exception. In this case, we have initializer class name, which is invalid. Basically just throw this message. Typo. Okay. Throw new invalid initializer exception, initializer class name. Okay. Like this. And then we have two more. So when a controller doesn't return a response or a view, the router throws an error. I think that makes sense. And we should also have some exceptions for that. Exceptions. So did anyone go to Laravel last week? And how was it? What should we call this? Missing controller, output, exception, class, name, object. Okay, oh, something like this. I mean, we can still rename them as long as as no one is relying on these exceptions, which is part of the reason I'm not open sourcing it yet. Okay, and then we have a controller class and method, string controller class, string controller method, and we have this message. Throw new missing controller output exception, controller class, controller method. Yeah, cool. And then there's one more, no route found. What should we call it? Invalid route exception. Okay, and then we're done. We also want like the controller class and method here. Invalid route, no route found. Well, do we? Yeah, we have a method. Oh yes, this is when we call to URI. Yeah, from controller class. Did you add a route attribute? Something like this. New invalid route exception. Controller and method, right? Controller class and just some consistency controller method. And what's the error here? Oh, get name. That's a reflection. Okay. Pretty good. Run our tests. Good. Oh, I should push. I'm still not writing any commit messages, by the way. I'm just using the wave emoticon. Now, Adrian, you watched the stream. I watched parts of it. It was interesting. I actually, Nuno is coming on this channel to talk about the new pest changes as well. And I also asked Marcel, but he hasn't replied yet. I would like to have a talk about native PHP. So yeah, looking forward to that. There was this interesting like thread on Reddit, on the Laravel subreddit. I don't know if you saw it, but what's with all these pop-ups? Come on. It was about Folio and Volt, but it wasn't this one. Oh yeah, over here. So someone said like Folio and Volt, which are two like front-end related things. They feel a bit weird for Laravel, and people were complaining about it. And yeah, I think it's interesting because I phrased it in the comments here as well. So Laravel is adding these kind of new things that people say we don't really need this, and Laravel is like going away from its core. And you know, I find it interesting because as far as I'm concerned, Laravel has kind of solved its core problem of being an MVC framework. It does it perfectly well. And I mean, there are some bug fixes and performance improvements and slight changes that improve developer experience. But there aren't that many like big features that Laravel still needs. It's kind of good, perfect. I wouldn't say perfect, but it's as far as the things we have in the PHP community, it's the best. It's the best framework, at least in my opinion. So it makes sense that, you know, the Laravel team is just experimenting a bit and trying out new things. And so with Folio and Volt, like Folio, it's a way to have no route files and just it reminds me of like a static site generator, where you have your routes generated based on your document structure, and you have like tokens you can use in your file names that are mapped to dynamic data and stuff like that. And Volt is a way to write Livewire without writing PHP components, if I understood correctly. So yeah, people are complaining a bit that, you know, we don't really need this and this and that. But I mean, as long as it's optional, I'm probably not going to use it. But I think it's a great way to experiment with new features in the framework. And, you know, if Folio or Volt or whatever, there was something like precognition as well. I think they spoke about it on Laravel as well. There was something called Beep. I don't know if you remember that. Taylor talked about it. We never heard of it again. It was some kind of social media thing for Laravel, I think. I'm not sure. But, you know, as long as it doesn't like get in the way, I'm not really bothered by it. And I think it makes perfect sense from maybe even a business point of view. Laravel has to innovate and has to keep growing. You know, every company has to do that. So it makes sense that they're experimenting and trying things out. And if it doesn't work out, no harm done, right? There's still the core framework that is just working perfectly. So yeah, I think this was interesting. By the way, Adrian, you avoid Reddit. Too toxic. It's interesting that, like, this is an observation I made. On Reddit, people are complaining about Twitter and Hacker News because people over there, they are too toxic. And on Twitter, people are complaining about Reddit and Hacker News because it's too toxic over there, and Hacker News is about Reddit and Twitter. So, I think, yeah, there are always like toxic people in every community, and you just have to avoid them. I think Reddit is still quite a good place, actually. Well, apart from all the meta changes that are happening on Reddit company level, of course. But that's a story for another day. As a platform for interacting with the community, I think it's still good. And like the PHP subreddit as well, there are some people that aren't doing all that well. But I moderate that subreddit, so I get to see quite a lot of things. But overall, there's quite a healthy community there, and people who can, in like a mannered way, discuss serious topics. And I like that. Let's take a look, Adrian. You're saying also that they are a cool way to attract new JavaScript people. And it's okay for the Laravel team to toy around and explore new things. Exactly. Yeah. It might very well be a way to attract all those JavaScript folks. It wouldn't surprise me if these ideas originated a couple of months ago. Maybe it wasn't even that long ago, but when like the Laravel community got this boost and like JavaScript developers suddenly discovered Laravel, and was like a whole thing. That was pretty cool. Yeah, I don't mind it. I think it's okay as long as it doesn't get in the way, right? And it doesn't look like it is. So, but let's go back to Tempest, right? Okay, I added some exceptions. That's good for now. You can always fine tune later. Consistent namespaces. No one shared their opinion, I think. No, I don't think so. I'll keep the issue open for now. And let's go back to my list. So global exception handler, not now. Reflection helper classes, yeah. This is something I'm dreading, but I have to do it. Let's take a look. So, as any framework, Tempest is relying on reflection. Quite a lot already. Oh man. Yeah. How many? 77 matches. Okay. Okay, so what's happening is that I'm writing quite a lot of the same code. And I have this rule that I don't want to abstract too soon, but it's getting annoying, basically. I'm always writing like get public properties and getting attributes, and it's only going to get more and more complex. So yeah, I need to do something with that. And I actually already did. Let me show you some behind the scenes work. This is untitled. This is like the version 0 of Tempest, basically. And it had some reflection helpers, and I think I just want to copy them over at first. So I have support, and let's move those in, and let's take a look at what they do. So this should be Tempest reflection support reflection, right? I did use Symfony collection still in my untitled version. That's yeah, we're going to have to change it, but so maybe attributes is a good one. Let's take a look at how this works. So some code that I write quite often is this, right? Initialized by, get the attributes for a specific attribute class, get the first element. If it doesn't exist, it's null, and you know this, okay? And it goes over a reflection class. Yeah. So in this attribute helper, basically, let's actually take a look. Yeah, it's I should return array here. I mean, we're going to solve it step by step, basically. Oh yeah, resolve attributes. Okay, gotcha. Array, and it should basically return this. Okay. Yeah, so instead of writing like reflection class and then initialized by all of this, I think we can do something like initialized by equals attributes, attributes for class. Just pass it class name, say instance of initialized by first, and that's it. And I think that's much cleaner than all of this. Yeah, let's take a look what that does, basically. If anything goes wrong, it does. Generic container, what's this? Oh, undefined variable, hang on. Line 144. I still needed that reflection class. Okay. Reflection class is new. Reflection class name. And then we can pass it in here, and then that's solved as well, because I was using it in a different place. Okay, and another, oh yeah, of course, properties here. There are some errors, yeah, because I'm also still relying on Laravel's collection. I have to fix that. I actually don't know what properties was for. What did this do? It got the public properties. Yeah. I'm going to need this as well. Private, without static, without parent, all, and then it filtered. Then you had the ability to filter properties based on closures, parent with parent. It also was able to resolve like the parent properties for a class. I'm actually not sure if I need this class right now. It might have been a bit too much for what I want to do. So yeah, I will need to make another class here anyway. Let's run these again. Okay, it's all fine. So that one refactor that we did works, basically. Yeah, but I like this a lot more. And if we now go like get attributes, take a look. Yeah, that's quite a lot of places where we can refactor stuff. So here we loop over methods, and then we can do attributes for method in this case. We just pass it method. Instance of route. So I can get rid of this. And what's the error here? For method. But if we pass a yeah, this basically makes a reflection method. Reflection method. Or reflection class or string. Let's do it like this. I just want this to be as convenient as possible, basically. Null method name. So if, and this should be called class or method. So if class or method instance of reflection method, we just want to return new self, new, and then class or method, basically like this. And otherwise we'll do that. That should work. So this attributes for method, instance of route, if and this returns. Oh yeah, and I should get all. Okay, it's good. Let's try that. It still works. Nice. Martin is asking here. The first timers watching his stream here. Well, thanks for joining. You're very welcome. And you can go to YouTube, like to the YouTube, the channel here, PHP annotated, and there's a list of previous streams here, and I also have a playlist which I didn't update yet. So I still need to do that. This is the 5th stream we already established here. So, okay. More attributes. So, property. I don't have support for property actually for class, for method. Let's do for property. For property, reflection property, and or method or reflection property basically. Okay, return new self property. And this should be static, of course. Let's take a look if it works. Oh, this is the wrong place. For property. Here. So, as cost equals attributes for property. Property instance of cast width first. So yeah, the cool thing about this is that it also has like type hinting. It knows which attribute this is. I think so, right? As cost. Actually, I'm not sure. Ah, yes, but it should be as cost. No. Let's actually fix that. So attributes. Yeah, it doesn't. Okay, it should. Template T. So when you say instance of, template TU string, it gets a class string and it returns an instance of self U basically. And then when we do first, just hang on a second. Shouldn't this give me an instance? This is old code. I don't know what I was thinking there. I actually think first it makes more sense for first to like return an actual instance of the attribute and to return T here. So basically do this. New instance. No, I know how it works. Or object. So if we call instantiate, if we do it like this, instantiate. No, no, it doesn't work. I'm just going to change it so that it always creates an instance, because I will always need an instance. And if I don't, I'll make, I'll fix it then, basically. All returns an array, I think, of attributes. Attributes. Let's take a look. Reflection property. Okay. So let's just make sure this actually works. So we resolve the attributes from our reflector. Yeah, that's good. Instance of. We resolve them. We don't have recursive. I'm going to get rid of this because I don't need it right now. And it's recursive. It's making it more difficult to reason. Okay. Let's just return attributes for now. Because what this was doing, and it might be good to do, it was going to look at parent classes. But I don't think we need it at the moment. So let's just simplify until we need it, basically. Instantiate, I'm going to get rid of it. Okay. So all returns an array of reflection attributes. Yeah. And then this works. And then we do first and we instantiate them. And if we do all, okay, I need to refactor a little bit. Array map. Let's do it like this. Reflection attribute, new instance. Okay, and otherwise we'll do this. And that's first attribute like this. And it'll return t, and in this case it will return an array of t, which is our template that we set. And now let's take a look. It doesn't work. Has cast. Sucks. Okay. So attributes for property. We say instance of, which should set the template variable. Instance of. And it returns self u, which makes sense. And then it has template t. Okay, why doesn't that work? Let me template. Because I've done exactly this in other places already. Of object. I probably have to add this, but this basically is the same. Okay, so let's copy over this. So instance of. Let's remove this. T of object, and in this case it's always a class. Class attribute class. Okay, this is good. And then we have template. And use proper names instead of T and U. And then return class type. Like this. Class type, please. Okay, will it work? doesn't. That's strange. Why doesn't that work? Self. But it still doesn't work. Huh. That's weird. It's very weird. So when people say I'm a legend, I definitely am not, because I'm struggling quite a bit. I am cloning here. That shouldn't matter, I think. But let's just simplify things even more. Does it matter? No. And just to be sure. So what should happen? If you call instance of, we give it this class name. Then we have configured a generic class type here. And when we call first, it should return, well, PHP Storm and Static Analyzer should know that it's basically this type, and it should give me auto-completion here, which it doesn't, which is strange, and I don't like it. So Remco is asking, you already used T inside the class template. So this one is called class type, which is the the type configured on this class. And then we have a new generic template name called T for now. And we say that this class string is T, and we return self T, basically setting this one when we return it. That's the idea. But it doesn't work. Let's actually check whether my object mapper still works. The thing is, with my object mapper, I did something differently. Maybe I should take a look. No, this is it's still doing the same thing. So it's returning class type, which is set for class over here. Let's take a look at it if it works, right? Yeah, it works. See, this is auto-completion on base model, basically. I don't understand. No. I don't think I'm missing anything. Well, I did make some changes here, but that doesn't really matter. That's actually... Is that a package still? No. I have to search my own GitHub now. Attributes, tree. Maybe it was spaCy. I once wrote a package to do exactly this. It was a reflection. Let's call it reflect. This search here. Reflection. No. Attribute. I don't know what is it called anymore. Which really sucks. Or maybe the package was deleted. That could be as well. Yeah, because I wrote this exact code in a package somewhere and it worked. But it doesn't now. Too bad. I don't know. Let's go back to our initial problem. which was, we were looking at get attributes, basically. Like these ones. Attributes. Let's do it like it. Attributes. For method. Controller method. Instance of routes. Route. Class. First. Like this. Again, let's run our tests. Ooh. Oh yeah. What did I do? Cannot call abstract metal if a static metal for model new. I broke it. Cannot call abstract static method. Uh-oh. Table. I'm not sure where this is coming from now. It's all falling apart. I said it was a casual stream. Let's take a look at what changed. I probably removed something somewhere. Perhaps it's this. Okay, that's better. Okay. But now my tests fail. Meaning my attributes don't work. Let's go back here. Hang on a second. No. Could not resolve, blah, blah, blah. Initialized by new instance. Doesn't work. Yeah, that's definitely a problem here. Call to undefined method. Wait. Hang on a second. In generic container kernel, generic container, blah, 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 blah. Oh, of course, yeah. I made some changes here. I should. Initialized by is already an instance. So I should do this. Okay, let's rerun our tests. A couple still failing. Yeah, this is the same problem, basically. Yeah, okay, that makes sense. That makes sense. We're here. Okay, this is solved, and that's also the same place. Let's rerun our tests. Okay, we're good. We're good. And everything's green. Okay. Adrian asks whether I can replace self with class type. Let's just try it out at this point. You mean over here? So class type is the generic class name here. You're not returning that. You're returning an instance of attributes with this generic type configured, right? And it should, I mean, it should do something. Yeah, I'm not sure. I don't know why it happens. As far as I know, it should work. But Ramco has another idea. Use specified template class name, but without the of object. Class type. You mean like over here, of object. Would that make the difference? No, I don't think so. But it's good to add this, basically. It says that class type should be of object, basically. So let's definitely keep it. And Remco had, I don't know if this is the same idea, Remco. If it is, or if you know what I should do to fix the problem, definitely let me know. I would appreciate it. But instance of. Now I want to fix this. This should be self. This is okay. Yeah, I don't know. Generics are a mystery indeed, Adrian. It should work, but it doesn't. Yeah. Oh well, we can continue refactoring. So get attributes over here. Ah, always this one. So class get attributes, and where are we? Oh yeah, array to objects mapper. Yeah, so in this case, and this is something I want to solve in this helper class, because at first, so these are caster attributes. Let's take a look. Base model has one. So you can have cast with caster name. You can do this on properties, but you can also do it on the type, like what's happening here. And at first we want to look at properties, but if that doesn't have a cast with attribute, we do want to check the type. So that, because there are two ways to configure casters, basically. So yeah, let's first rewrite it as it is here, and then consider if you want to add more shorthands or not. Maybe you don't. So cast width is attributes for property in this case. For property instance of cast width. First, one can hope. And if this one isn't found, we will try to create a reflection class, which doesn't always work because the type isn't always a class, and just wrap this in an exception, basically. So in this case, we can do attribute, cast width equals attributes for class in this case. And then we say property get type get name, and this can fail, but it doesn't matter, we catch it. We say instance of cast width first. Oh, let's clean that up a bit. We can get rid of this. This is annoying because it might actually throw an exception, because here we're creating a new reflection class. So cast width is over here. If cast width still doesn't exist, we'll return null, and otherwise we do this, I guess. Like so. Yeah, should work, I guess. I have tests for this, so there we are. It works. And here in chat, generics are the reason I hate TypeScript. I absolutely love them, but it's. I mean, if they work, and I'm probably missing something, right? But if they work, they are pretty nice. But they don't work. I'll figure it out off stream, I'm sure. Or not. Again, the wrong place. Here we are. This is in the router, and we're going to get the route attribute for a controller method. And let's actually call this controller method for consistency. And we need this class. Okay, we need this reflection class to get all methods basically. So we can't use the shorthand, but we say route attribute equals attributes for class, for method, I'm sorry, for method, controller method, instance of route class first. Okay, like this. If it isn't found, I mean, you have to remove new instance here, of course. Okay, take it away. Perfect. And a couple more, and then we're done. I already had. Oh yeah, casting also happens on the base model. So let's rename this to with cast. And let's say with cast. It's basically the same. Attributes for property. Property get type, get name, instance of cast width first. So, and it might make sense to, what's the error here? Doesn't it work? I mean, we did change that in our for class. Of course. It's actually the right error. Okay. Run again. Yeah, nice, nice. Adrian is still going on about the generics. I like it, but don't you need to set a template on the property where you store the class string? Let's take a look. I mean, I want this solved. Don't you need to set a template on the property where you store the class string? I don't think so. No. No. You mean over here? I mean, I can do it. Class string. If it works now, it'd be nice. Or no. And then, yeah, no, because the instance of thing, it's used over here internally with the get attribute call. There is no direct relation between the two. By the way, basically this should be solved in PHP. They should add proper generic attributes, I feel, but probably wouldn't be as easy. No, it doesn't work. It is what it is. Let's refactor the last one. Validator. Yeah, this is attribute. Let's take a look for property. Instance of rule. All in this case. And we can get rid of this because we instantiate everything. I should have said it like this. Rules. Like so. Just for good measure. No, it doesn't work. Okay. Everything's green, and now I'm using my attributes helper everywhere, which is good. And now I can consider, like, for example, this code, once again, I might need to, I could refactor this, could add something like model reflection that's aware of casts, or I could something with scan class type as well, something like this. I need to think about that. I'm not sure yet. Not sure. Yeah. Let's keep it simple for now, right? Simple and straightforward, basically. Okay, good. Reflection helper classes solved. How many issues did I close today? 2. I'm going to close this one as well. No one replied, and I'm happy. I think it makes sense. Like, validation namespaces are singular, except interfaces, which I'm okay with. And when you have like sub namespaces, they are plural, and on application level, it's plural as well. I think that makes most sense. The way I imagine, like, these folders here, they are like sub modules of the framework, which is why they are singular, and everything else is plural, basically. So I'm going to close it as well because it makes me feel good. Okay, cool. Yeah, still some work to do, but I think I'm going to conclude stream here. I will probably stream somewhere this week once or twice again, so I'll be back. Thank you for watching, and yeah, leave your thoughts in the comments down below. If you're watching this when it isn't live, maybe someone can help me figure out my my generics problem. That would be very nice. And yeah, I'll see you next time. Don't forget to leave a like, subscribe, comment, and share the video. You know what to do. Until next time. Bye bye.